everybody, what a Wiisdom here. It is, Thursday, 1:37 in the morning. We got bad Mr. Frosty here to show you how brilliant the YouTube AI bot, if you watch the video where we create him, which is titled Skylanders Imaginators, creating bad Mr. Frosty Clay Fighters tribute, the AI bot calls it Clay Fighters, not Skylanders, even though the game is titled Skylanders. I have it in all the tags, I have it in the description, the entire content of the video is Skylanders, it calls it Clay Fighters. That's what I am up against on a daily basis. Fantastic, right? Anyway, if you did not know, I've kind of been phasing myself out of sports. I don't like politics overlapping into something that I was watching to enjoy not being around politics. And needless to say, it's the World Series, though, and the Astros are in it. My grandma was a pretty big Astros fan. Rangers and Astros. Harry Carey as well, Cubs announcer back in the day. Hated the Braves for some reason, but I mean, like, growing up, it was like WGN and TBS. There wasn't, like, all of the televised baseball at the time. You mainly got Cubs games and Brave games, even though you live in Texas. It's strange, I know, but that's just how it is. So there was like no Fox Southwest at the time, But yeah. Anyway, everyone gets a free taco, I think, on November 1st, 2 to 6 p.m. at Taco Bell, Doritos Loco Tacos. So if you don't like baseball, if you don't like the World Series, but you like Taco Bell, there you go. It was actually a pretty good game tonight, I've got to say. And it kind of slowed me down because I was watching it and it went into extra innings. And it was like, oh, the game's over. And then it's like, nope. And it's actually a record for the most home runs in extra innings and the most home runs in a World Series game, possibly a postseason game, if I'm not mistaken. That said, I've finally gotten back in here. Spyro557 provided good news. He asked if I was going to put a hat on this guy. I said yes. He asked if I was going to make it blue. I said I hope so. He's tested it out. You can, in fact, do that. So instead of having the out-of-place black hat, which is traditional snowman garb, I'll get to put one roughly the same color as the gloves or the boots. Sort of like a sky blue. I think is going to look really cool. Anyway, the hat's only plus 30 luck, which is a lot of luck, but I still don't like to put one on just in case it were to skew our numbers here somehow. Speaking of skewing things, I know I don't talk about it. I actually come in here and document everything, like from level 1 to level 5, and then we do level 5 master together, right? Well, just a few moments ago, I was in the arena, and the stupid rats were there, and I was testing the ice block, which we'll showcase, I guess, in the next video. It's an elemental power for the water element stuff, but I was seeing if you could, hide behind it, and if it would shield you and things along those lines, and I was letting the rats hit me a few times to kind of gauge what would happen, the durability of the ice block, so on and so forth. And lo and behold, I got down I think I was in red. I think it was 18 or 28, something like that was my health. And there was 2 rats, the garbage guy that throws cheese. Both of the rats had consumed the cheese, so they were massive. And then I think there was a horde of chompies and a fire spell punk. And I was like, I wonder if I can take these guys down with, low health. And I did. The problem is I, went straight from level 3 to level 5. As it happened, it was level up. And then it just flashed again, and it was level up. And I'm like, no. And I tried to stop it, but I came in, and these are the statistics I saw. So we need to make note of that. Level 5, Mr. Frosty, a Water Element Quickshot. You're going to be sitting at a health of 336. Box stock, they start out at 240, which is pretty impressive, I have to say. I am looking at the right thing, right? I'm over a little far. Yes. You gain 24 health every time, so I was able to go back. I know at level 4 we would be at 312. Some of the other things didn't change, but most of it was a total wash. So when you see this spreadsheet, just know that's the time that I clutched the rats and leveled up 2 times in a row. So my apologies there. But the attack 14, armor 6, speed, agility, and luck 18. Box stock numbers, just for comparison, our attack was 6, so we are plus 8. Our armor was 4, we are now plus 2. Speed was 15, we're plus 3. Luck was 12, we are now plus 6. So Something I want to point out before we get rolling here, okay? What I just was checking out was the secret technique Blast Zone, which I would have had at level 4, but hey, I didn't get to test that because I went straight to level 5. And here's the thing, you press Y to create a danger zone where your enemies take more damage, right? Well, I've been trying to test this thing. And because our soul gem here is actually pretty cool, it's Bounty Hunter. And I've got a pretty good feel for what it does. But Blast Zone, which I have not tested with the Bounty Hunter, I figured I'd do that on camera to make things interesting. But Blast Zone, I want you to pay attention to this, okay? So we back out of here. I actually want to see how long the Blast Zone is, so let me count this real quick. 6 seconds. A lot of the quick shot stuff seems to be 6 seconds. Is that a 6-shooter reference? I don't know. But let's see here. Blast is going to be 51 to 77. 6-second blast zone. Now check this out though, okay? So you're thinking, oh hey, that's a pretty wide circle, you know? They get the little icon above each dummy and they're going to take extra damage. That's pretty cool. Well, watch this, okay? So I've got the weird one, and we're doing the damage with it is 29 to 44. What this seems to do, Blast Zone, it's just every time that I shoot the dummy, we do 2 rounds of 11. I think we're doing 11 to each dummy, and the critical of that would be 17, right? So you think, okay, cool.
Okay. Maybe just a few
Does it
tweaks.
work with the marksman, which I personally like better? And the answer is yes. There's our blast zone. It's created. I'm doing 14 to 21 with it, and then we're hitting the dummy in the blast zone 11 to 17, right? So 11 to 17 seems to be what we do. And in a typical scenario, you would be like, okay, cool. Well, now you've got to test it with everything, right? Unless you're too tired, and I am tired, but I'm not too tired to test it. And so right now, my secondary attack, I've got the wave push selected, right? We pass through at 8 to 12, and then the wave terminates now at 14 to 21, which you saw the critical hit there. So you're thinking, okay, cool, so it's going to get 11 to 17s, right? No, nothing. That's the same for every single elemental power. And the blast zone itself, which you're thinking, okay, well, hey, if it doesn't work with the elemental powers, it would work with weapon powers, right? That's correct. And then your next assumption is, well, it's going to work with secret techniques too, because that's like building off the weapon powers. So we do 51 on impact. If I fire this off continuously, we're just going to, every single time, do the same damage. You might get a critical of 77 from time to time, but there's no increase. The only thing that changes is whenever you come in and you do that with your weapon power attacks. So, interestingly enough, Blast Zone, as cool as it is, you know, competent as it seems, it has no impact on any of your elemental powers. At least with the water element, I assume if you're earth, fire, light, dark, undead, whatever it might be, you're going to suffer the same fate. You're only going to have Blast Zone benefit your weapon power. So they don't advertise it that way, but that seems to be what it is. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. Again, we're going to focus on the weapon power and the secret techniques here for the quick shots. Our next video, we will do the water element specific upgrades. So marksman right here, it's spammable, it's 14 to 21. The wild style, which I'm not a big fan of, we're doing 29 to 44. These are not huge gains. Level 1 with marksman, we were doing 13 to 20. We're now up to 14 to 21. So, I mean, you see where we're going here. Wild style, 26 to 39 was our box stock numbers. We're now all the way up to 29 to 44. So, +1, +3 across 5 levels. Nothing to get super excited about. And, you know, I guess we could just, let's do it. Let's just go ahead and take care of these. So, if I come over here, and we want to denote our mastered stuff. Master Marksman, press X for fast-paced shots that ricochet off of walls. 700 is the price. I can't remember. Did I do this with Reset Me? Okay, so we did go up, which is awesome, and it's ricocheting. I had one arena round, like I think when I was level 2, where these were ricocheting just like this. It didn't do it prior to that, it didn't do it after that, but I'm trying to get one to ricochet into the other enemy, and I did it twice now, so it's not going to be super common, but I mean, let's face it, you're going to be spamming the snot out of these, and from time to time you might get it. So 19 to 29 spammable and ricochets. Anyone remember Ricochet? Country band from the early to mid 90s? Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyway, let's come in now and take a look. I keep clicking looks for some reason. I guess I just really want that hat on him. But let's do wild style now. Press X to fire powerful scatter shots. We're going to go ahead and upgrade here. Mastered wild style, you're going to press X for spread shots that have more range and do more damage. Now, this was doing roughly double the damage to begin with, so this is going to be, you know, a nice increase there. The range will be better too, so we need to select it first, but here we go. Whoops, wrong button. Alright, so that's what it looks like now. The aesthetics changed a little. I'm not a huge fan. 34 to 51, so basically both of those got a +5 for better or for worse. So 34 to 51, that is about all she wrote there. And wait, why am I doing, you can jump and do different damage? When was this a thing? Well, I'm so glad I was hopscotching through here. I don't know why that's a thing, and I don't know why you don't do the same damage. You're actually doing less, but it's an interesting anomaly, and we will put it down. Anomaly, I should say. 27 to 41. I got paint on my mind, apparently. Work smelled like paint really bad today. It was strange. I don't know. It kind of smells like candy, and you're like, wait, no. That's paint. So, I've got to test something now. Okay. Does Mastered Marksman do that? So, sure-footed on the ground, we're doing 19. If I jump, I do 19. So, why do you jump and do less damage with wild style? I have no idea. That is everything there was, right? Yeah, so the range didn't really seem to increase a ton in my opinion, but hey. So now we are to the secret techniques. I've got to skip all these sweet elemental upgrades in my spreadsheet here. I gotta say, Death Blossom, it's something I've apparently never taken with Reset Me, everyone's favorite TrollerCon. And it's pretty awesome. So let me showcase it to you first. Press Y to spin around, firing your pistols like crazy. It's basically 6 seconds. When we unlocked it at level 2, we were doing 8 to 12. You'll be delighted to know here at level 5, we're still doing the same damage. But check this thing out. I'm a big fan. Whoops. Wrong button. That would have been the correct Nintendo button. I wish it was sort of like a blue-white, like elementally themed type of a thing. Like if you had fire, that would be perfect. If you had life, I would want it green. With water, I'd sort of like blue-white ice theme, you know. Magic, I'd like purple. But while that doesn't really fit a water element character, it's pretty dadgum cool. I've got to say, you cannot move when you do that. You don't really need to, but it would be nice if you could spin around with that in like circles. Ooh, that would be sweet. But anyway, that's what the Death Blossom looks like, and I wanna master this thing. So let's do it. We're gonna need 2,000 for each one of these, 8,000 total. Mastered Death Blossom. It looks to be a little different aesthetically. Press Y to spin around, firing your pistols like oh. Well, well, well. Haha. If you wondered if I read these ahead of time, the answer is no. Otherwise, I would not have just been complaining about that, knowing that we were about to get it. But what can I say? I'm delighted. Oh, game over. This is a keeper. The damage did not go up, but quite frankly, I don't care. Are we still going for 6 seconds? Let's find out. Yeah, you know what? That's really not a huge thing. I would have expected a damage increase or a duration increase, honestly, when you buy Mastered version for 2,000. Fact of the matter is, I liked Death Blossom so well, and my complaint was you couldn't move. I'll take it. I mean, I would prefer all 3 to be checked off, or at least 2 out of the 3, but getting that factored in, in my opinion, is better than going from 6 to 10 seconds or 8 to 9, essentially. So 6 seconds, 8 to 12 can now move. So I'm happy with that. I don't know if you are. Let me know in the comments section. But hey, it's a pretty cool attack, you've got to admit. So Blast Zone. I've showcased this to you already, so we don't really need to take a look at it. We get 51 to 77 on impact. It's 6 seconds. And then when we attack with a weapon power, whether it's marksman or wild style, we seem to get an additional 11 to 17 damage in the entire radius. So if we hit one Chompy and there were 7 of them in the circle, they would all take 11 to 17 damage, right? So what would the upgrade even be? Press Y for a larger blast zone that deals more damage. Okay. I don't really have any complaints about what I think this is going to be like. So it looks better. Okay, so let's document some things. Blast is 51 to 77. 6 second zone. Number 1, in my opinion, for Mr. Frosty, a water element character, the blast itself, when you shoot it off, looks better. The blast zone looks way better for a water element character. It's more color schemed, if you will. And then the question now becomes, let's take a look here. I've got Marksman doing 19 to 29, right? So we're going to fire that off. And we're doing the 19, but we're getting the 16 to 24. So 16 to 24 area damage. That's not terrible. Plus it looks so much better. But, you know, that's actually probably... Let me showcase this. Like, I'm just doing it singular shots, you know, for kind of the sake of the video. But in a real game scenario, I would be over here doing this. Alright. And we would just be laying waste to people, because while we're only doing 19 to 29 off of our marksman weapon power, we're getting 16 to 24 in the entire area on anything that's in that circle, which is a pretty good chunk of real estate. For example, if I shoot it over at Mags, look at this area here. I mean, we're going from the well to this grassy area. Anything in that region, if I shoot Mags, something here is going to take 16, something here takes 16, and something here takes 16. So whenever I do this and just shoot like once or twice, you know, like, oh look, it's doing 16, that's not representative of an in-game scenario. Ooh, that's the soul gem. So let me just go ahead and cover that. What it seems to do, it's called Bounty Hunter. It looks amazing, particularly for Mr. Frosty, because it like whites everything out. It puts enemies in red hitboxes. If you note, bushes and trees, which you can hit, are treated just like the training dummies. They get their own hitbox, which I found interesting. I don't know what it does. It increases damage and it increases loot. In the battles, I used it quite a bit in the arena, and it like seems to put a pile of cash there. It was always 20, it seemed. But what it seems to do damage-wise is just straight across the board, 2x the damage. So I'm doing 19 here. Now we're doing 38, right? So 19 to 29 became 38 to 57. It literally doubles the damage. And as you can see here with the elemental power, we're doing 8 to 12 slide through, 14 to 21 wave termination. This actually works with the elemental powers. It's just straight across the board every single time I've tested it. It's double the damage. So what I forgot to do when we were complaining about Blast Zone at the beginning was see if it works in conjunction with this. So I would probably work best to do that. Okay. We're doing 32 to 48. So the soul gem is actually doubling our damage bonus from Blast Zone, which that's pretty good. There's kind of a delay when you start using this thing, but you could stack those two and definitely wreak some havoc if you're so inclined. So I've got to say, that's a pretty sweet little setup there.
Okay. Maybe just a
Moving
few
on, though,
tweaks.
our third upgrade is called Charge Shot. You hold Y to charge up a massive shot. Now, this is a twofold upgrade. Let me go ahead and showcase it for you. If I just come in here and tap Y, he's going to be delayed. He's going to be a little slow. But there's essentially an initial hit and then a secondary hit. It's almost like you pierce an enemy. So where this stands, the first shot, assuming this hits both dummies, it doesn't always, but we will do 205 to 308. And then if it pierces through, we're not going to do the same 205. We're going to do 148 to 222. So let me just tap Y. I'm doing nothing. I just held it. I just tapped it. So there's our 205 and our 148, right? Now, if I hold this for roughly 5 seconds, it will automatically time out. It will automatically release the charge shot, and it's going to be done at a way higher rate. When you hold it for the 5 seconds at level 5, the first shot is 342. The critical on that's 513. The pierced shot that's lower, 228 to 342. If you note, they sort of mimic one another on the big end. Look at that, though. 342 on the main, and then 228 on the pierced shot, right? So, case in point, if I fire this off, can it overlap or will it time out? Oh, it didn't register. Dadgum. It's because you don't... Ooh, this is... I don't know if this will ever work. Can you... Nope, you can't trigger it while going. Dang. Okay. I don't think you could rip off the 5-second one because you only have 6 seconds to work with the bounty hunter. But you can come in and get one of them.
Want some more?
Which is pretty good. I mean, you're going to double that. That's why you saw the 410, right? So 410 to 616 roughly, right? That's pretty insane. And I suppose, could you possibly... no. Yeah, because secret techniques, you can only have one at a time, of course. I was trying to think if we could use the blast zone with one of the... Like, I know that I'm kind of going like next level here. I realize that blast zone doesn't work with elemental powers. But I was wondering if I had a bounty hunter up, if we would get the same double, or if I had the blast zone going somehow too. We could actually manipulate and get the elemental powers to be doubled along with a increase. I don't think it would work that way based on what we've seen, but it might be something you could play around with if you're curious. So that said, what you need to take away from that is the charge shot is super powerful as is. It's a little clunky, a little cumbersome, because again, when you tap Y, there's no instantaneous gratification. You've literally got to wait a little bit. And then if you want the big money shot of 342, you got to hold that bad boy down for 5 seconds. So it's something you would sort of need to do when you're approaching a field of enemies or when you've retreated to a safe spot. A lot of that's going to come down to, are the enemies ranged and are the enemies faster than you? But with Imaginators, you can equip parts and you can bump up your speed, and you could probably make better use of this than, say, with a standard Skylander. That said, we need to upgrade this thing. Press Y to charge a massive shot that deals more damage and knocks enemies back. So this is very clear with what we get. We get a damage boost and knockback. Knockback we can't really showcase here, but we'll make note of it. So what I want to do is just tap right now. Oh boy, 359 crits. 239 to 359. We'll go ahead and log that. 239 to 350. I've got to put tap first. Tap 239, 359, comma. What was our pierced shots? 317 will be the crit. That worked out very well. 211 to 317. So from there, I have to type hold. We're going to go 5 seconds here. Was that $3.99? Are you serious?
Oh, in your face!
Oh, buddy. So, hold is going to be $3.99. Half of that is going to be what? Like $199.5. So that would be 200, which would make that a critical of $5.99. Wow. That's impressive. $3.99 to $5.99 if my math is correct. I'm just kind of spinning that off my head at 2:02 in the morning. Ooh. Okay.
Want some more?
I'm trying to see both of them and I just can't do it. What is the second one? I guess I'll give up on a critical. Is it 285? Why is it so difficult to see that one?
Booyah!
359. I think there are intermediary ones, but I'm not too concerned with those because that would just be annoying. 428 was clearly visible as a critical. 285, I think it was. So 285 to 428, half of 285 would be 142.5, right? So that would be 143. 285 and 143 would be 340. Yeah, 428. So if you hold it the full 5 seconds, you get $3.99. Let's see if we can get the critical. I'm thinking it's $3.99 to $5.99. And then the piercing shot, 285 to 428. So case in point, if you're not doing a critical but you get the pierce shot, you're doing a $3.99 and a 285. That's a lot of damage right there. So $3.99 and 285, we would be doing what? 500, 684 just from the standard form, not factoring in a crit. Will we ever get a crit though to enjoy it? I kind of want to see it. We're getting it fairly regularly on the pierced shot, but I don't believe we've ever gotten the crit on the primary shot, and it just takes so long for this to happen. Come on now. Just show us the big number. Really? Oh, we did it. Persistence pays off. It's 599, and it was well worth the wait. Do you see? Keep in mind we're at level 5, and it's going to be super rare that you would get that to happen. You're probably not going to use it a ton, at least holding it down the full 5 seconds. You saw how tedious it was to get the critical, but at level 5 to deal 600 damage essentially on the front side, then you're going to do another 300 on the back end almost. That's 900 damage basically from one attack. That's pretty good. So I'll take that. I'm not sure that I'll use it with Mr. Frosty, but I do think you could set it up and have some fun with it if you're so inclined. Final secret technique is gunslinging it. You press Y for concentrated rapid fire in a single direction. Now, in the spreadsheet, I typically just have this one as 10 seconds, rapid fire 7 to 11. So basically, if I hold Y, the cool thing about this is you have mobility, right? You wreck face and you're mobile. Now, that was when I held Y and we went about 10 seconds. If I tap Y, this is what happens. You get roughly 4 seconds. I'm not putting that in the spreadsheet, but I felt like it was worth denoting. So we kind of go with the buzzkill, the high-end stuff. But if you just tap Y, and then if you decide you want to go longer, you just tap Y again. But you can do 3 rounds of that for 12 seconds, or you can basically just hold Y and get 10 seconds out of it. But this is it and Death Blossom are very appealing, I have to say. So, essentially, though, 10 seconds, 7 to 11. I'm excited to see how this one upgrades, actually. So, let's get the upgrade for gunslinging it. It is called Mastered Gunslinging it. Aesthetics not going to be great for bad Mr. Frosty, but they would be really good for Fire Element Quickshot. If that color is correct, I assume it is. Press Y for concentrated rapid fire in a single direction with greater range and faster movement. Okay. All right. I'm hoping there's an increase in damage, but let's see the range. Oh, that's a really good range right there. That felt like longer than 10 seconds. It's still 10 seconds. Oh, hey, 10 to 15. Look at that.
Slinging, baby.
That's some pretty serious stuff there. So, 10 seconds. Rapid fire, 10 to 15, with faster movement. You note several of these additions to the mastered secret technique is simply an increase in mobility, which I have zero issues with. But Bounty Hunter is the soul gem. I really like it. I thought it was going to be high-end, futuristic, typical video game grid lines, purple, green, and red like you see in this thumbnail. It's whitewashed, which is going to be lame for like a fire element, a tech quick shot, a air quick shot, pretty much any quick shot that is not specifically snow. Okay, you could do like the Yeti, similar to Slam Bam, and probably pull it off. You can make like some sort of a snow creature. Even if you did like typical water element and you wanted more like a blue for the water, it might bother you. But for Bad Mr. Frosty, it's pretty freaking sweet. So let me go ahead and read about it to you. Press right trigger to put a bounty on your enemies. They take extra damage and they're slowed. Defeat them for extra gold. You know, I didn't put that they get slowed down. 6-second bounty box, extra damage, slows down enemies, and defeat for extra loot. Now, the thing here, this isn't really anything on its own, right? It's a little attack, but it doesn't do any damage. I can rip off the bounty hunter. I'll go ahead and do it. We've got 6 seconds of this. If I don't attack, we do nothing. It just basically turned the screen white for a few seconds, right? However, when we attack, we do double the damage. So that is doing 19. When I do bounty hunter, we do 38. Right. Is it working now with our elemental attacks? I doubt it. That's doing the 8 to 12, 14 to 21. We'll go ahead and test just in case. It's working now. Why wasn't it working earlier? What? Okay, you saw. I tested it before I went on camera, and then I showed you that it wasn't working. We were doing the same damage. Now it's working. Why? I couldn't tell you. Wait. No. It was working. It worked. It was, the tertiary attack that didn't work. So 10 to 15 there in Bounty Hunter. Check this out. 20 to 30. It's a pretty cool deal. Bear with me. I'm very tired. It's 2 in the morning and I had a long day at work, but, the soul gem right across the board without fail. It seems to be 2 times the damage every single time, which is what I like to see. What we have left for Mr. Frosty, aside from putting on his hat and making it color coordinated with his blue gloves and boots, which is going to make him look way better in my opinion, we need to showcase the level 5 elemental powers and the level 5 mastered elemental powers. However, for ease of viewing and to keep the videos somewhat shorter, I am going to do that in a standalone video, as we've kind of decided upon here. Once again, the colossal screw up on my end was kind of like getting too involved in the arena battle. You know, I mean, I had Chill Bill and Broccoli Guy there to impress, and we sort of overdid it with the rats. It was clutch. It was awesome. I mean, I think most people would have died there, and we didn't. In fact, we restored our health 2 times by going from level 3 to level 5. Problem is, again, I totally missed level 4, so I didn't get to baseline. It would have been Blast Zone that we unlocked at level 4, sadly. But hey, what can you do, right? That said, I've got to say, this is shaping up to be a pretty potent little setup we've got.
Maybe just a few tweaks.
Personally, I'm liking Master Marksman, particularly because it ricochets. If it was singular, and it didn't ricochet, you could say, oh, I don't know, maybe we'll go with Wild Style. For the elemental power, I don't even want to speculate on it just yet. All of them are great. I did check the bubble. I was hoping you didn't take damage. It was treated like a burrow when you're underground. You do take damage. It might be reduced because I got hit by one of the rats, and it only did 17 damage, and I think typically they deal way more than that. So that's cool. The ice block is really neat. The piranha pets, if you were thinking like, oh, wow, it's going to be like the earth beetle, huh? No, not quite. But it's still pretty cool. It's just nothing along those lines at all. I'll probably go with one of these three. The ice block, I've always loved those. Slam Bam, Chill. Those are some of my favorite, most memorable water element attacks. The bubble's kind of dorky, but it's neat at the same time. And then the wave push, that goes back to Zap. I absolutely love it too. So it's probably going to be one of these three. But the cool thing is we can cycle between them and we'll always have them picked up. So it's not a huge deal. Secret technique though. This is tough. The charge shot obviously is going to give you the most instant, not instantaneous, but the most like, ooh, like big number. However, the 10 to 15 from this will very, very quickly compete with that, particularly given the time constraints to fire that off. You could go through a couple 10-second rounds of this and come out numerically superior to charge shot. Mastered Blast Zone. If you love Marksman or Wild Style, the weapon powers, and you don't really care about your elemental attacks, you don't really care about these secret techniques, you're like, oh, this sucks, take Blast Zone, Mastered Blast Zone, and shoot it off all the time and just spam your primary attack. Speaking of spam, it works better with Marksman in my opinion, because you're going to get way more frequency of the additional damage, right? So it's definitely a contender. But I've got to say, I'm kind of personally torn between Death Blossom and gunslinging it. The fact that we can now move with Death Blossom,
Party on!
That's just really cool, I've got to say. It's a shame we can't like pair that with the Blast Zone. Same thing, Blast Zone coupled with gunslinging it would be cool. Gunslinging it, I'm torn between it and Death Blossom, and I might switch between them freely. And the cool thing is, when I do Bounty Hunter, I can then come in and we can double up everything that we do. So this is turning out to be a better setup than I thought it would be, I have to say. So that said, let me see what time we're to. It's 2:14 in the morning. This is approaching 40 minutes. Fantastic. I think I might go ahead and just come in and do the water elemental powers here while I'm kind of feeling it. And then that'll buy me some time to work on my Minecraft project this weekend. I don't know if I'll get Super Mario Odyssey and like start streaming it or uploading it. I'm still not sure if I can stream Nintendo games to YouTube and no one will answer my questions from the content creator program deal, which is a whole debacle story in and of itself. And then, of course, I wanted to play some Shotgun Farm. I don't know. There's a lot going on. I need to finish up Mystery Case Files, which, yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and do the Elemental Powers. So Water Elemental Powers should be your Saturday video. Halloween is on a Tuesday. I realize a lot of the younger audience is going to have to go to bed because most school districts aren't super awesome and give you Wednesday off so you can fully enjoy Halloween like they ought to do. If I was president, that totally would be a thing. November 1st would always be a day off, so that way people can have a good Halloween, right? But what I am thinking is possibly this weekend we might do a little bit of the Skylanders live stream. Typically Halloween I always do like special Skylander stuff. There's no new game this year. There's no new undead characters. So I was at Toys R Us last night. I got in on their 75% off deal. Cashed in with a couple of creation crystals, one of them being undead because I needed it. And I think we will possibly stream this weekend, either Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. Again, Super Mario Odyssey comes into play. If you're watching this still, let me know would you rather see like Super Mario Odyssey streams, or would you rather see Skylander streams? Halloween is it's such a cool holiday. In my opinion, I want to celebrate it. And like I said, I realize a lot of you will either be busy with school or work or whatever Tuesday nights. So I'm sort of thinking maybe do some things over the weekend as well. I still plan to stream Tuesday, so don't fear about that. There's also a game I plan to pick up, which I don't even know if I'll bother uploading it to YouTube, because I'm pretty sure it would just be a nightmare and never get monetized and just cause more trouble than it's worth for me. So you might want to follow me on Twitch or Mixer, and I'll probably just stream it there. It's not really, it's a first person shooter, and it's not like, I don't know. It's probably better suited for like people my age that would have been around when there were similar games when we were growing up, type of a thing. It's probably not like super kid friendly, but anyway, I mean, you can see worse things on TV that night on basic cable. So anyway, I will quit rambling. Let me know your thoughts here on Mr. Frosty. What would you do? What attacks would you pick for Mr. Frosty? Now, obviously, if I had like a different setup, I might be like, ooh, charge shot, we got to do it. But I'm sort of torn between Death Blossom and gunslinging it. I do think I'll stick with Marksman, though. Let me know how you would tier this guy. And then just in general with a quick shot, what is your preferred setup? But that said, I want to check out these mastered elemental powers really bad, so we're going to do that. And like I said, let me know your thoughts. You want to see some Skylander stuff this weekend? I'm talking live stream. I'll have my typical Saturday video, of course. Or would you prefer to see Super Mario Odyssey? That I might have to stream to Twitch, just because I honestly don't know if I'm allowed to stream it to YouTube anymore, because I'm in the Nintendo Content Creator Program. I've never gotten a concrete answer on if it was banned if you just do it video by video, or if it's only banned if it's your entire channel. And I don't know who to ask, and I've asked YouTube people and they don't respond about it. So I just don't know. And I either stream, and I don't know what the repercussions are if Nintendo banned it. Like, do they just delete everything I do? Do they kick me out of the program? Do they delete all my videos? I have no way of knowing. So it's kind of, it's like I'm trying to bat, but I can't see, like I'm not even facing the pitcher type of a thing, right? So that's another story, another day. It's just the mess YouTube has become. But I'm going to take Mr. Frosty here. We're going to take him, finish up the elemental powers, and then most importantly, we're going to get his hat on and we're going to make it blue. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. SkylanderClub.com is the forum. That's where I'll post up all these spreadsheets. Wiisdom.com is a personal website. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I will always tweet my videos. I will always tweet before I go live, regardless of where I'm live streaming. That said, for myself and bad Mr. Frosty, we'll catch you back here. Adios.